Hey baby girls, my skin is really not at its best right now. I've been stress picking, which has left me with blemishes, scarring, pigmentation, and skin that's just looking dull and dehydrated. So today I'm giving myself a facial that I always come back to. It's deeply hydrating, it leaves my skin looking healthier and more glowy, and it's one of my favourite ways to relax and unwind. Let me show you exactly how I do it. So first up, I'm using La Roche-Posay Effecla Cleanser. This is actually my daily cleanser and I honestly couldn't live without it. So I'm someone who's never really struggled with problematic skin, even in my teens. And what is annoying is at the age of 34, I now have problematic skin. I came off the pill about a year and a half ago, and since then I have experienced so much active acne. But most recently, I've actually stripped back all my skincare and I only use 3 products. My La Roche-Posay cleanser, which I'm using now, a La Roche-Posay anti-blemish corrective gel moisturiser, and a brand called Ultra Sun, which is a face SPF lotion. And I just don't feel like I get that nice hydrated glow. So every now and again, I love to give myself a facial like this. So now we're going in with my Babor Enzyme Cleanser. So this is basically a 2-in-1 cleanser, and you can use this as a cleanser and exfoliator, or you can use this as a second step and as a standalone exfoliator. I know a lot of people still haven't heard of this brand. So it's a German brand, and I actually first heard of this brand when I was working in my first salon. And this was the brand that they used to use. I remember one of the first facials I ever did on a client using premium brands, and I was so nervous. Behind me, I had notes and steps to remind me what I needed to do and what products needed to go next. And I dreaded them asking me a question about what I was using and what benefits it had. Although I got further training in the salon to use the brand Babor, everything just felt so winged. Like, I honestly just felt like I winged every treatment at the beginning. And in fact, I think I felt like that for about a year. I think at the beginning, when you're working in the beauty field, there's that much information that needs to be retained in your brain that it just feels like an absolute overload. So making notes and working from a book every day was literally what I did to get through it. And I actually feel quite sad, but also very proud of how far I've come. Don't know why. I don't even know why I'm getting upset. This is so weird. I don't know, just thinking of me all those years ago and that feeling that I used to have in my stomach every time I did a treatment. I always felt like I wasn't good enough. And I was actually so hard on myself thinking back. And I just feel so sorry for that girl, that I always doubted myself and never thought I could do it. I always wanted to be the best at what I did. And if you think of it in a positive way, it got me where I am today. Baby girls, I was not expecting to get emotional talking about that. But if anybody's watching this video and feels how I felt, hopefully this will give you hope that you won't always feel like that. And that scared, nervous, not good enough feeling will one day disappear. Okay, back to skincare. So now I'm using the Ordinary Salicylic Acid 2% toner. So I don't use this all the time because I do have a tendency to get perioral dermatitis, and this is definitely triggered when I use active skin ingredients. So I can only use this product every now and again. I mean, just look how much dirt this has lifted. So now I'm using the Ordinary Rosehip Seed Oil. So this oil is actually a really good option for people who are struggling with breakouts and active acne. I think when a lot of us have acne, our instinct is to avoid oils completely and use products that strip away as much oil as possible. But when you do that, you can end up dehydrating and irritating your skin, which can then compromise your skin barrier. So using something like a lightweight, non-comedogenic oil like this rosehip seed oil can really help support your skin barrier. And I also just want to talk about like giving yourself a facial massage. Obviously, it's not quite the same as receiving one from a professional, but it can still be incredibly beneficial. So, like using lifting upward massage techniques can help reduce your puffiness, it can encourage lymphatic drainage, and it can leave the skin looking more sculpted and refreshed. So, I've now been in the beauty industry for over 10 years and I've definitely faced some obstacles. But another major obstacle was the constant belief to truly be successful, I needed to own my own beauty salon. The problem was, I'd never actually wanted my own beauty salon. I spent time working in the industry in a salon, and I knew plenty of people who also worked in salons or even people who owned salons. And it was the same story, just long hours, constant stress, staff management issues, bills, overheads, and the pressure of keeping everything afloat. And I saw firsthand how stressful that is. And for me personally, I didn't want that. And I knew I would struggle if people worked for me and didn't share the same standards and work ethic that I did. And what I've learned is that success doesn't have to look the way everyone else says it should. I've actually managed to build a fully booked business from working out of my car as a mobile beautician with a waiting list that had been constantly closed for years. And then I managed to take my mobile business into my home salon. And then I decided to show up on social media, and that completely changed my income. I've been able to achieve everything I wanted to achieve and probably more without taking on the stress of owning a salon and managing staff. And let me tell you, I'm not saying that growing my business has not been easy, because in some ways, I think it's actually been harder and more stressful. But the fact that I've managed to do it with just me and my partner, and I haven't had to manage staff, is one of my biggest achievements. This is all I ever wanted. Anyway, that's enough of my TED talk. So back to some lymphatic drainage using my gua sha stone. Baby girls, these masks are the holy grail of hydration. They're from a brand called Image Skincare, and they are the hydrating hydrogel sheet masks. Now, I'm not going to lie, you do look a little bit mental when you've got one on, but oh my goodness, the amount of hydration these give your skin is actually unreal. And the best part, the amount of product you get in these sachets is actually incredible. I actually keep the leftover serum and I use it for up to a week after opening the packaging because there's so much in there. They are honestly worth every penny and it leaves your skin feeling so plump and hydrated. Yes, and I'm even pulling the excess product onto my neck and onto my shoulders. Okay, so I've now got my cryo ball and you can keep these in the fridge and they are amazing for helping to depuff the skin, especially in a morning if you're feeling a little bit puffy around the eyes. These can be an absolute game changer. But personally, I do love to use mine when I've got my sheet masks on. The cooling sensation feels so incredible. It helps soothe and calms the skin and it just makes the experience feel so nice. Oh, I also haven't mentioned this, and if you've managed to get this far into the video without being bored to death by my little TED talk, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you so much for every single one of my subscribers and everyone who takes time to watch my videos. Honestly, without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if you're watching and you haven't yet subscribed already, I would absolutely love it if you wouldn't mind clicking that little subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it makes a huge difference to my channel and helps support the content that I create. So my skincare isn't finished there and I'm actually going in with the La Roche-Posay Vitamin C12 Serum. So this is actually such a nice product, especially if you're concerned about things like pigmentation and uneven skin tone. I've actually got quite a lot of pigmentation and I tend to notice it mostly above my top lip and around my eyebrows. And I do find that this serum helps brighten those areas. Although, because it is a vitamin C and it is an active ingredient, I can't use it all the time because it does trigger my perioral dermatitis. And Corey's just wafting my skin to absorb the serum before I apply my next product, which is my La Roche-Posay Anti-Blemish Corrective Gel Moisturiser. And I absolutely love this moisturiser. This is another product that I use daily. It's really lightweight, non-greasy, and it gives my skin the hydration it needs without feeling heavy or clogging my pores. So one of my favourite skincare products of all time is actually a lip mask, and this is the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask, and I am genuinely obsessed with this stuff. So I'm almost at the end of my facial now, and whilst these next products aren't necessarily skincare, they're products that I use every single day and I honestly couldn't be without them. So the first product is my brow growth serum. This is by HD Brows and this is called their brow conditioner. It is the holy grail of brow conditioners and it makes my brows beautiful. The next thing is the Revitalash eyelash serum. Now this actually triples the length of my lashes and makes them so much more thicker. This is expensive but worth every penny. And the next thing is my Ella Banner Eliplex serum. And I put these all over my lashes and it just coats them with so much more hydration. It's got loads of hyaluronic acid in there and it almost sets my lashes and makes them look like they've got a little bit of clear mascara on. I was absolutely mortified that I hadn't polished my mirror. By the way, this is so me. I start off by giving myself a facial, notice some mess that's in the bathroom, get my rubber gloves out and start deep cleaning the bathroom. But I finally made it to the end. So here's my skin afterwards. It just looked so much more hydrated and healthy and it definitely feels plumper, smoother and overall a lot more refreshed. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!